So welcome today, our third Lioness of Light Oracle Within Journey session on the 9th of the 9th, 2020. So quite a special, significant date astrologically, as there have been so many over this time, such deep activations and heralding of change and just that reflection as within, so without. And that's my Coco scratching a nest again. So blessings, he will settle in a few moments. So we join together for this next experience of an imprint of spirit, taking us deeply, yet again, in another dimensional way to our inner sovereignty and the spectrum, the holographic aspect of what that is for each of us as spirit embodied in matter. And it really is about the matter of our beingness as we experience this life, knowing that we are each a starseed essence of pure source, pure consciousness, with absolute and utter divinity and wholeness ever present. And yet, through the experience of entering into embodiment, entering into the visceral experience of our humanness and the so many aspects of what this is for each of us, through all our senses, through all the bodies of that which we are, as we enter into this physical and journey through this physical experience. And it is a sacred task. It is a sacred experience. And it brings with it so much beauty and joy and suffering and loss and receiving and letting go. It is this absolute, journey of so very much. And to honor that, to hold that within, is also no small task at times. Coco. Good boy. Bit too loud, probably too close to the microphones. So through this third experience, reflection of imprint of spirit of Skyhorse, through Skyhorse. So remembering through the Lioness of Light Oracle, there are 52 aspects within the whole that are explored, touched on, connected with. But through our journey, our Zoom journey, live and experience through all those who are watching the replays in their own time, we are moving through the 17 key oracles that came forth for me in my life journey. And of course, there are untold oracles. What is an oracle? What is oracle? For me, oracle is something that comes through spirit, divinity, the light of source that we each are, that we are of, and yet oracle comes through the visceral, manifest experience of form. It is an experience of the body, of the depth within. It is not something abstract that is separate from. And if you look at and explore the oracles through ancient time, across cultures, however they may have been named or regarded, it was always something that came through a physical, visceral conduit. It was not something separate from. And I think there's something about that for us, because so often we are in a way, more recently in our times that we exist in, given some sense that oracle and or life and or spirituality is some kind of linear ascension path that sort of separates us yet again from our visceral, physical, human experience, that it is somehow separate from, and we kind of have to, chuff off on some, flight that has nothing to do with, or and also is almost a rejection of the physical nature of our experience and all the bodies, the emotional body, the mental body, all the bodies that are part of our human experience that we are where we have entered into and through which we receive so much. That is the journey of our humanity, of our humbleness, of our recognition through that, of our connection with all, of our oneness, of our deep loving compassion. That's the goal. And through that light, that deep goal that we become more, open to, return to, that is then, we can radiate that out and it can guide us with our deeper sovereignty in union. It's through that. So Skyhorse is, again, an aspect of that. She came to me as a dream more than 25 years ago. And she descended this huge horse, this mare, with a foal beside her from the deep star-studded sky, night sky. I saw her descending. She didn't have wings. She came full-bodied as the horse that she is. And I could see up in the distance some of her relatives, the family, waiting far in the distance like stars themselves. And yet she came down with her foal, down to this earth beside me, before me, and offered herself to me. Come, ride with me. I will take you. You can journey with me. I don't know where, but I knew it was back up, through the galaxy, through the Milky Way. And in the dream, I longed to do that. Here she was, and it was magnificent. But in the dream, I was too afraid. I was so overwhelmed with fear. I just couldn't. I was terrified that I would fall off her. I thought if I fell off her back while I was riding through the sky, I would fall to my death. I would not survive. I didn't believe or trust that I could stay with her, that I could ride her, that I could ride with her. And so I declined. And she and her foal ascended. And in the dream, and then when I woke, I was left with the most profound grief for my lack of courage, for my self-doubt, for the painful loss, because I thought, what would that have been? What would that have been to have had the courage to journey with her? What would that journey have been? And I felt such grief and pain and loss. And that dream and grief stayed with me for years. And the longing, my prayer became, may she one day return, and may I one day have the courage to take that journey, to ride with Skyhorse, to know what that could be. And I share this with you because over the decades, I have begun to understand the profound gift that actually came with the fact that I stayed with how I felt in that moment where I made contact with myself, and I could not take that journey for those reasons I have shared, and perhaps other things I was not even aware of. And it was not a failure, though at first I felt deeply that I was a failure, that it was a profound reflection of my inadequacy and of my lack, you know, that I should have, you know, not been able to receive and to take up this incredible experience. But there is value in that. After 25 years, I decided to paint the experience. What might that have been? I know. You know what? I'm going to paint myself riding Skyhorse. I'm going to see if I can open to what that is about through painting. And it was also about understanding suddenly that we can fulfill and make contact with things in different ways that maybe even in our life we have bypassed, or that have been taken from us, or that we haven't been able to respond to, even though we kind of would have liked to, or felt we should have, or could have, or dreamed of. And then yet when it came, for whatever reason, it might have been something outside our control that was not able to support us in that experience of having that, of following that, of fulfilling something. Perhaps it was taken away, um, you know, let alone the fact that we made contact with, or then acknowledged, you know, some deep wound within the self, or some aspect that was not ready. This is okay, because these are the aspects that teach us and grow us into this deeper, vaster being, that then when we have experiences, or we are brought to something that we are able to take up, respond to, um, and even have the sweet bliss experiences, whatever that is, we are then able to bring ourselves to these experiences, or fulfillment of aspects within ourselves, or response to something in life, with so much greater regard and wholeness of experience. It's all the more sweeter, all the more tender, all the more poignant and profound. And that is something beautiful. We are deepened and broadened and made vaster. So I share this with you a little bit more depth than I intended to just offer that to you, so that you take that into yourself and know that even those things that you maybe look back on and might say, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't made that choice, or if only I'd been able to do it differently, or the grief when something has been taken away, when we thought we were about to move into it and then it just, you know, fell apart for whatever reason, or didn't manifest. It's okay. And this is the journey. This is the sacred task of being human. And truly, this is also when we're able to be present, to really be with where we are, even if we regret and think, oh, I wish I was somewhere else in myself, or in my life, or whatever. I'm here though. This is my truth. And I hold this. I'm willing to be with this, to bear this, and never give up faith, and knowing that, you know, you will be brought to things that then, it's like, wow, you know, it's even the sweeter and the most deeply honored and holistic and all-encompassing of the holographic, full-dimensional being that you are, here now in this precious life, embodied, spirit embodied in matter, like the lioness, the golden lioness. Nothing, no aspect of herself is not present. Both the sovereign being, the timeless being, and her scars, her vulnerability, you know, the times when she's had to, you know, get back, stop, the times when she's been in shock, when she's been confused, and when she's walked and rested and gazed and run. So, without going on too much more about that aspect, but it just feels very important to share. So, Skyhorse. I will read to you a little from the Imprint of Spirit Oracle, and then we will move into our own journey, our own experience of what she is, or he, mare or stallion, or somehow both and neither, because ultimately we are one of all energetics, of all polarity and duality. And one more thing that comes to me in relation to Skyhorse, again, in shamanic cultures that have the horse in their, environment, the horse, when we drum, it's like it's riding the horse that takes us through different dimensions. And yet remember too, the horse is such a physically embodied being. So this is so important to remember as we are. Seed essence. Carrying the light of the stars from which we are made, traveling pathways of sky and time, we make our journey. Voice of Spirit. I am the wild passion of your soul, come to awaken you into the starry firmament of your dreams. I am the vigor deep within, seeking liberation for you to harness and ride. Bareback we journey, guided by the light that resides in your heart. Let us journey together. I will carry you. Counsel. Skyhorse comes to you now with the invitation to ride upon her back and take a journey beyond where you might have thought you could go. Allow yourself to dream, to vision. Summon your wilderness of spirit. Ride bareback with courage and faith. You have about your shoulders a gossamer shawl of light that flows from the river of stars above you. You have your inner compass, the diamond light that is your eternal source. Take the reins and surrender to not knowing. Let go attachment to outcome. And what is required is a kind of fierce love and commitment that only you can offer to yourself. No one else can provide it. You are your own liberation and infinite self. You are your own creative source. Know that within any circumstance or situation you find yourself, at any time or place, within you is the Eternal One, who is sovereign and free. Like the great mare and foal that runs beside her, both the vitality of power as pure energy and the presence of vulnerability can be companions. They can ride together, whole and safe. Trust in the journey, a synergy of the known and unknown. As you accept what is outside your control and discover what is within it. Through your capacity to respond, intuit, and allow yourself to be shown, maintaining curiosity and faith in the unfolding of your path, you come to recognize that the process, which is the heart of the journey, is the gift, the life force within all. It's organic, just like nature. It's an unfolding livingness of your being, of your life's journey. And yes, we are shaped and impacted by everything that we experience and that we has come to us and that we have been exposed to as babies, as children, as young, growing through our years. And it is true, we are not our story in the sense that we are eternal beings of light. We are sovereign beings of divinity beyond what most of us are aware of within ourselves. And yet, in our human journey, in our soul's experience, the experiences that we have had and journeyed through do shape us. And that is the nature of things, just like nature, a tree, a plant. It is shaped and impacted by things that occur in its environment. So, you know, there's something very comforting about that, because we are not alone in this and we are not responsible for everything. So knowing that which is not within our control, knowing that which is within us, and, you know, the journey of synergy of all. So riding Skyhorse. So I invite you to just take a few moments to perhaps close your eyes, to settle within your body, whether you are seated or laying down. Feel the weight of your body on the earth, allowing contact with your breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, quietening into the stillness, the song of silence within your deeper being and your timeless nature. And I invite you to allow a landscape to come to you, to find yourself walking in a landscape. You are safe. It is a place perhaps that you know, or a place that comes toward you now. Smelling the air, noticing the earth underneath your feet, the warmth of the sun perhaps as it sets, and the stars beginning to come out now above you, this great dome of our celestial universe. The beautiful stars, the Milky Way. As the light begins to change now, the last setting rays of the sun and the light of the stars bathing you in their loving warmth, their deep space, home. And perhaps now you find a place where you stand for a few moments, just breathing in the night sky and that quality of the stars as they bask you in their light. And now you look up and you see descending a great horse, a Skyhorse. And you know that this horse, this Skyhorse, is one of your relations, is an aspect of your being, of your multi-dimensional self in all your journeying, that has come at this time to greet you, to be with you, to offer itself to you. And the horse now is before you. You can smell the horse. Her eyes, or his eyes, like this great world unto itself, shining softly and beautifully, looking, gazing into your eyes. Perhaps a noise, a breath, taking in the presence of Skyhorse, your Skyhorse, color of her coat, the mane, the warm breath is together. It is as if you are breathing now in unison, a recognition, a beautiful breath of welcome. You place your hand on the body of the horse and feel her strength, her warmth. And the invitation is to ride upon her back. Perhaps allowing any feelings that you have in response to this to move through you. It may be simply an immediate sense of yes, of knowing, of deep recognition, of return, of memory. And so you are now upon the back of Skyhorse. And take a moment to feel, to really connect with all your senses, with the sensitivity, the sensitive nature of Skyhorse, this physical, visceral, palpable nature of Skyhorse, the grace and the profound embodied power within her muscles, within her presence, the physicality of this, which is within you. And together you are in this moment, both Skyhorse and rider, the two of you as one. You can feel with your legs and your thighs, across her flanks, there's just this incredible warmth and deep vigor. And now you begin to ascend. I invite you to take this experience in whichever way it unfolds for you. Perhaps you may rest simply in stillness, laying upon her back as she moves through the sky, moves through the realms. And the gift in this journey for you is to rest, to feel and know that she carries you, that she is with you, and with complete trust in your union, in your understanding, knowing the diamond light, the starlight within your heart is like a navigational compass, and she has one also, and together they communicate without words. There is this messaging between both your diamond light hearts, that star within each of you, connected through the infinite. Or perhaps you move into a journey of awakening where you are being brought visions or traveling to a place that comes to you, is gifted back to you, a place, a landscape, a realm that you know and now remember and reconnect with aspects of your being at this time. So take some time now as you journey with Skyhorse. And if at any moment you feel unsure or afraid, just feel her with your hands, with your legs. feel her body make contact with the sureness and the grace of her presence. She is with you as you are with her. Can you hear the sound of the stars as they shimmy and welcome you home? Perhaps she returns you to a land of long forgetting, where you walk or rest. She has so much she wants to share with you, remind you of, that exist within yourself, perhaps long forgotten, and now reawakening, for it is time. And now Skyhorse begins to bring you back the way you traveled, back through the stars, back to this place, to your body, to your being, here together as we are sharing this experience through Skyhorse. Coming back now, you journey, breathing, holding within your body all that Skyhorse offers you, has returned to you, and is ever present with you, ready to take you yet again to explore, to remember, to awaken, to rest, to be restored, to move into silence with her in whichever way is true for you. Know this, and in grace you give thanks, perhaps stroking her face, and the two of you holding together with this love that is Skyhorse, that is you, the remembering, the exquisiteness of this, the loving kindness and the great passion. So coming back, giving thanks in honor and acknowledgement of Skyhorse, riding Skyhorse. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. This is one of my drums that I made many years ago, and you can see the basket of stars for Skyhorse and the claw of a bear. Ho. So allowing yourself, some time and a little bit of space for incorporation of some of the aspects and the gifts that Skyhorse may have reawakened, remembered you to, and that which you have experienced, trusting in knowing that every aspect of your experience is exactly timely for now, and that even if you don't fully understand aspects of the experience, they will unfold within you, and they are within you. We don't always need to understand by any means with our mind. We are just part of nature, and our own deep intuitive being. Allow that to do its work, to receive the gifts and to allow the unfoldment of that which is. And know that you can make contact with Skyhorse at any time. You can simply go and rest upon her back. And, at other times you may go on wild journeys across the tundra, through the universe and beyond, and back again, always coming back. This is the sacred task, the sacred blessed experience that we are embodied through. So many blessings. Thank you so much for joining with me. And we are in circle together through our timeless selves, our timeless being at this time. And next session, next week, we will be making contact with Star Lion. So she is our next Oracle Imprint of Spirit journey next week. So I look forward to being with you then. I look forward to our experience, our communion with Star Lion, sovereignty in union within, and great blessings. Thank you so much again, and journey gently today or this evening, if it is the evening for you. Take a little time, light a candle, sit with a stone, allow yourself a little bit of space and time. Blessings.